Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be giving you my NRL fantasy breakdown for round 5. Let's get right into it. Last week's standouts, round 4, was able to get a score of 899. Pretty good score for me, able to win my leagues. Heard people had really big scores though, into the 1000s, so good on them. Hoping to get a bigger score this week. The round 4 standouts, we have Hines, the highest score of the round, almost getting 100 with 98. Is he too expensive to get now? We'll talk a bit about that. Hosking, 94 score, done pretty well, but is that just a one-off score, or can he get scores like that like every week? Isaiah Yeo is a solid option, 83 points. Definitely underrated, definitely a guy that, you know, is a good pickup and he's averaging really well. So then we have Cleary. Is he back to the best of him? 78 points. Can he get scores higher than that, and can he keep it up there every week? Papali'i, underrated, 78. You'd think, oh, he moved to, you know, Tigers, he might get a bit less points, but 78, he's still up there in the top players. He's just quite underrated right now. He's still getting in a lot of tackles, getting in a lot of base stats. 78 points from him. And Margie also 78 though. He might need tries to get those types of scores. Is it a one-off, or can he get scores like that again? So going back to Hines, he is quite expensive right now. He's at 1 million. You're gonna have to, you know, break up your team if you want to try and bring him in. You know, maybe Harris and someone else, you know, to try and get him, but I recommend holding till after the bye. So then I have my holds and my sells. So for my holds, Isaiah Katoa, I think is a good backup, and I still think you need to hold him. He did not play last week. I'm not sure if he's playing this week. I would still hold him. There's other people you need to sell, and he's a guy that, you know, you just need to keep. Tyrell Sloan, I think he'll have better weeks than that. One off, and it's not even too bad, 27. I reckon he's a guy to keep. Tom Trbojevic, he may have some better games. If you went from him, it's obviously quite risky. 36, fairly low for his price. Might get better scores future weeks, but I reckon he's a hold for now. I don't think there's any reason selling him when there are others to sell. Tanner Boyd, people have been talking about getting rid of him because he has a buy. I don't think so. He's definitely a guy to hold. 52 points, you gotta hold him. Sean Bloor, I reckon he can still make some cash. 37 points. He played 31 minutes, so he's above a point per minute, and that's his base stats. So he might be able to get, you know, if he plays more minutes, he might get a bigger score, pretty big, but it's just a matter of how many minutes he can play. Jack Bird, is that a one-off bad score of 32? I think it might be. I reckon he's a hold. Dragons, you know, struggled in that game against the Sharks. And so now to my sells, I've got Tommy Talau. I wouldn't normally talk about him, but he still has 18% ownership, so I reckon you guys should probably not have him. Injured and, yeah, high ownership. Did not play. Latrell Mitchell is pretty expensive in 25. I reckon there's other guys you can get for Mitchell. Ray Stone, low scores of 19. He's a guy to go, as well as Thompson, who also had low scores of 17. Brent Naden, if you brought him in because of his high scores, I reckon getting rid of him now. Inconsistent. You know, you're not going to know what you're going to get with him. And Murdoch Masilla had a low score of 21. I reckon he's a guy to go. And then I have my must-haves. Again, they're normally pretty similar every week. We've got Hopgood, who's solid on 70, bounced back from last week. Carrigan, 57 points. He is a solid option there, as well as Grant, 51. Katoa, 59. He is fairly cheap for his scores. Ford is literally one of the must-haves. High scores of 61, and he is so cheap right now. Cameron Murray, another high scorer, 58 points. And finally, I have my trade options price range. 0 to 300k. I got Hands up there, Chester and Pezzett, all fairly good options, good guys to get. Then 3 to 400k, I've got Jackson, Ford, Warbrick and Sloan. Ford I definitely think is the most important. Probably should have him. I even put him in my must-haves, and he's under 400k. Definitely a guy to get. Warbrick, you don't know where you're going to score with him, but I guess you could pick him up. And Sloan, he did have a bad week last week, but I reckon he should bounce back. 4 to 600k, we've got Katoa, Miller, Tabi Rafido, all good scorers. Miller there, getting 70. He is a very good option. 6 to 800k, Hopgood, he's definitely a guy I should have. Madison, Can he continue that week to week? Base stats, he did so many tackles, so maybe he's an option. Moses getting that field goal, I still think he's up there and one of the options to get. 800k, we got a couple players there. We got Yo, who's doing really well. Payne Haas, also doing well, and Harry Grant getting above 50 almost every week. And Cleary is a very good option, 78. A guy to captain if you have him. I reckon he's a guy to captain, but if you don't have him, I reckon he is a guy to trade in. Looking at that Cleary and Hines, I reckon you should get Cleary now and wait for Hines after the bye, but I'm not sure how you can get that. If you don't have Cleary or Hines, you definitely should be getting one of them this week. And yeah, that's my fantasy breakdown for round 5. I thank you for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed.